there, I'm Janette Lane, a craft designer at CraftStash, and in today's video I'm sharing how to make these super easy and super quick journaling notebooks. And I used the Wanderlust pad from First Edition, and this is an 8x8 premium quality cardstock, but First Edition has so many great designs and different size paper pads as well. So lots available on the CraftStash website. So first things first, I'm going to flip through here and find a pattern that I love. So I'm going with this bee because we're in Manchester and I love the little bees all throughout Manchester. The next thing I'm going to do is take a corner punch, and this is the Xcut corner punch. And we're just gonna punch each corner, and I love how it just rounds it off real nice. Of course, this is optional. You can keep those straight edged corners, not a problem. And when you're making notebooks or journals and you wanna be precise, then I do recommend using a scoreboard. I have the adorable scoreboard by Hunky Dory. And so I know that this paper is 8 inches, so I can just score that down the center at the 4-inch line. If you don't have a scoreboard, that's definitely okay. You can just take your cardstock and fold it in half and make sure that you have a nice defined crease. So here is the outside of my notebook, and if you want to make this more durable, then I do recommend laminating it at this point, so just to make sure that it's a long-lasting notebook. Next, I want to grab my filler pages, and I'm just using A4 sized copy paper. But if you want to get something a little bit heavier weighted, more premium cardstock or graph paper, you can do that as well. You can also make this with a watercolor paper, sketch paper. It's completely up to you what type of paper you use inside. My recommendation is to only use a few sheets at a time, because you want to remember that you're doubling this up, because this is going to be folded on the inside. And I feel that the more papers that you have, the more filler paper that you have, the easier it is for the paper to shift around when you're stapling your notebook together, and it might get a little bit messy. But if that doesn't bother you, then you can use as many sheets as you need. I'm going to use 6 copy paper sheets. My journaling notebook cover is 8 by 8 inches, just like the paper pad. I haven't done anything but corner punch the edges. And now for my paper, you would think that I would cut this down to 8 by 8 inches as well, but you want to just make it a hair smaller. So about 1/16 of an inch smaller. So I'm going to trim my copy paper to 7/7/8 of an inch by 7 7/8 of an inch. Here's my copy paper all trimmed down, and now I'm going to corner punch all these pages. Now, if you'll notice, when I put my copy paper on top of my journaling notebook cover, it's just a hair smaller all the way around. And so the next thing I want to do is score the center of my pages, my copy filler pages. I can either use a scoreboard, or if you don't have a scoreboard, like I mentioned, you can still create your own little notebook. It's really easy. So I'm just going to do a little shortcut and not use the Hunky Dory scoreboard, but I just want to show you how easy it is to still make a nice notebook without a scoreboard. So if you'll notice, all my filler paper is scored down the center, it's corner punched, it's trimmed, it's ready to go. And if you'll notice, I haven't done any special stacking or layering. I've just literally put one sheet on top of the other. And that's just gonna go right on top of your notebook. And now at this point, we're gonna add our staples. And I'm gonna be using the Xcut Anywhere Stapler, which is an amazing little tool. Look how tiny it is. But if you don't have one of these, then you can use a long reach stapler, which are like the name says, very long, very bulky, which is why I prefer the Xcut Anywhere stapler. But you can also do a little bit of stitching. So you can do some simple stitching with your sewing machine right down the center to bind your notebook together. But I'm gonna use this Xcut stapler because it's amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to staple, and all I'm doing is flipping this over because I want my staples to be on the outside going in. Otherwise, if you staple the other way, it's gonna poke you and you're gonna get these like sharp points on the outside of your notebook, which you don't want. Here's the Xcut Anywhere Stapler up close, and it's magnetic, so this little guy pops off, and it's just like a regular mini little stapler, but it's this magnetic platform that makes it truly an anywhere kind of cool gadget, cool stapler. So it has this plastic piece, and it's magnetic, and it just pops right off. So you have these two pieces. Now you want to set this aside, and we want to position this beneath our notebook. So I'm going to put this on the desk and then position my notebook kind of roughly around where I want my first staple. So I'm going to do 3 staples in total. So one here, one in the center, and then one at the end. So I'm going to position my paper on top of that base platform there. And then I'm going to grab this plastic piece, and since it's magnetized, it's going to stick my paper and hold my paper in place. The next thing I want to do is line up my arrows. So there are 3 arrows here and here to delineate where that straight line is, and also one here so that you know where it's going to staple. So I kind of want to make sure that my crease, my score, is centered on that line, and also keeping in mind the center line here as well. So I'm just shifting this around because I want my first staple to be about 1/2 inch from the edge of my paper, and that looks about right. So again, I want to make sure that my arrows are lined up, so I have a straight line here along my score, and then all I'm going to do is put back this little guy, put him back on the platform, and staple through. So here's that first staple, and when I flip this over, you'll see the other side, it's right on that score line. So that's what's really fun about this stapler, because it comes off and you can place it anywhere, literally anywhere. And then it has that little plastic detachable piece that's magnetic, and there's the little arrows that I was telling you about that I have to line up. You want to make sure that you line up your crease right along those 2 arrows, and also centered with this arrow. Now that I've got that first staple right here, I want to do my second staple roughly in the center. If you want to be really precise, then you can grab a ruler and measure out the center, but I'm just going to make a pencil mark roughly where the center is. And also, if you want to make your life easier, then I would recommend doing another pencil mark a little bit close to the top edge here, the side edge, just so that you know, it'll give you just a little bit more guidance as to where to place your stapler. Now it's time for that center staple, so I'm going to disassemble my stapler. So I'm grabbing the base platform, and I'm going to place it just about there, and I'm going to position this roughly on top of that platform. Grab my plastic piece with the arrows and snap it down on the paper. See? Magnetic, sticks to each other. Next thing, I'm going to readjust my paper so that the arrows line up with the score line. So that's looking good because I see my pencil mark there. And then I'm going to grab the stapler portion and just snap that right on top and staple. And once again, my staple is right on the score line. It's beautiful, and I'm just going to repeat the process with this last staple. So when I flip this over, you can see the 3 staples here, and my little journaling notebook is all done. I just have to close the pages. And what I like to do is just open this up and kind of crease each page. Just give it a little reassuring crease, additional reassuring crease, just to make sure your pages are nice and even. I'm really excited about how easy it is to make these notebooks, especially if you are a paper hoarder like me and you love pretty pattern paper but you don't want to use it. A notebook is a great option for putting that gorgeous paper to use in your stash. And what I love about this Xcut Anywhere Stapler is that it's so tiny. I have a long reach stapler at home and it's really long and bulky and I never know where to put it, but look how easy this is. I can't believe this stapler, it's amazing. And it also comes with some colorful staples. I used gold, but there are other colors like pink and purple and blue and green, so lots of options. I hope that you enjoyed that tutorial for making some quick and easy journaling notebooks. Everything that I used today is available on the CraftStash website, and you can find that at craftstash.co.uk. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you real soon.